Harry John production. Amazon FBA is not worth starting in 2020 if you're trying to do old school private label or wholesale. And that's because there's over 5 million Amazon sellers and over 4,000 new sellers join Amazon every day. Amazon is getting really saturated, but Amazon is a $1 trillion company. That's not a $1 million company. That's not a $1 billion company. They're a freaking $1 trillion company. And over 50% of all e-commerce sales happen on Amazon. And the cool thing about this is 50% of all the sales that happen on Amazon are from third-party sellers. This is random people like you and me. And that's a really big deal. There's over 200 sellers on Amazon that are doing over $100,000 a year. But probably the most compelling reason why you're not too late to start selling on Amazon is this one chart right here. This one chart made me realize that right now is the perfect time to start selling on Amazon. But there are right ways to sell on Amazon and there are wrong ways to sell on Amazon. And in this video, I'm gonna go over all the different Amazon FBA business models, as well as the pros and the cons for selling on Amazon in 2020. And I'll also tell you what I think the future of Amazon FBA is, and I think the data proves that I'm right on this. And the truth is, Amazon did used to be a lot easier to make money. It used to be like 5 years ago that you could just take a crappy product from Alibaba or AliExpress, slap your brand on it, and sell it on Amazon. And the reason for this was there just wasn't that many people selling on Amazon, but yet Amazon still had a lot of customers. Now the truth is, I missed the boat on this like early, easy days of Amazon as well, but there's still so much opportunity on Amazon. You just have to know the right way to go about it. And I have one product that has done over $800,000 in sales for me these last 2 years of selling on Amazon. And one thing I hear a lot of people saying is that Amazon FBA, it's too late, it doesn't work because all the costs and fees associated with selling on Amazon. And I think that's true if you're doing private labeling or wholesale. Private labeling and wholesale is kind of a race to the bottom. But I'll show you my numbers. In the last 2 years of selling this one product on Amazon, I've done $800,000 in revenue. Remember, revenue is not profit. The first cost for me associated with selling on Amazon was the cost of the product, which is around $200,000. Then I had the Amazon FBA pick and pack fee. This is the fee because you send your product, for Amazon FBA, you send your product into the Amazon warehouse, and when you get an order, Amazon picks it from their warehouse and ships it out to the customer. They charge money for this, and rightfully so, it's a very valuable service. I spent about $100,000 in fees for that specific service on Amazon. There's also a 15% fee for just selling on the Amazon platform itself, which again, I think is 100% worth it. Amazon has a ton of customers. I think it's around 33 million customers are on the Amazon platform. So it's worth that 15% fee. And I spent about $100,000 for that Amazon FBA fee. There is also some storage fees and some other random fees. There was around, I think, $30,000 I spent on those fees. And then there is an optional fee of the Amazon PPC. And I spent around $40,000 over the last 2 years on Amazon PPC. You don't have to do this. My products would have sold really well even if I did not spend money on this fee. But what I found is for every dollar I spent on Amazon PPC, I made about $3, so it was worth it. Now since Amazon is a business, there are some other fees for selling on Amazon. This includes things like LLC fees. And for me specifically, I have virtual assistants that run my business, so it's relatively a passive income source. And I spent over the last 2 years about $18,000 in all of those fees. And so at the end of the day, as you can see, I did over $250,000 in profit. It was around a 33% profit margin. Now, I've talked to some private labelers, including a good friend of mine who did $150,000 in revenue and ended up only taking home $10,000 profit. So yes, I do think it's too late for typical private labeling and wholesale. Now with both of these, can you still make money? Yes, absolutely, but I think it's becoming so saturated and there's so many people competing on the same products that it's a lot harder to make a profit. And there's 4 main ways to sell on Amazon FBA. There is retail arbitrage, wholesale, private labeling, and creating your own product. With retail arbitrage, basically what you do is you go to stores, retail stores, and you find products that are on a deep discount. Maybe you find a product that's normally $50, but for whatever reason, it's marked down to $10. Maybe the store is going out of business, maybe a bunch of different reasons. And you take that product, you buy it for $10, and you flip it on Amazon for the $50 it's worth. Now, after all the different Amazon FBA fees that we talked about, you're gonna go home with maybe $30, making a profit of $20. Now the problem with this is it's not really a sustainable business model because you constantly have to be going out to retail stores and trying to find deep discounts. But I think for low income households or maybe students, it's a great side hustle. With wholesale, you go to companies, you go to manufacturers and you buy their products at around half off the wholesale price and you flip it on Amazon. So maybe you find, let's say Nike shoes. You contact Nike and you get a bunch of Nike shoes that are normally $100. You're able to buy them at $50 and flip them on Amazon for the regular retail price. And then after all the Amazon FBA fees and the cost of your product, you might walk away with 20% margins. Depending on the product, it could be higher or lower. Now, can you make money from wholesaling on Amazon right now? Yes, absolutely, but there's 3 main problems with wholesale on Amazon. The first is it's getting way too saturated. There's only so many manufacturers out there that are looking to wholesale their product, and every day there's new Amazon sellers, new people joining Amazon trying to do wholesale, which means that there's a lot more competition, which means it's getting a lot harder to do. The second problem I see with wholesale is there are some established sellers out there that are just so far ahead, and I've met some of these people. I've met some of these people doing tens of millions of dollars, and they have better connections. They are willing to operate on lower margins, and trying to compete with them, to me, is like a no-go. I would never want to do that. And the third problem with wholesale is a lot of the manufacturers are just going direct on Amazon. Like as Amazon grows and more of the old school manufacturers realize how good of an opportunity this is, they're gonna cut you out. There's no reason they're gonna wanna sell their product to you at a discount when they can go directly to Amazon. Another business model, and this is probably the most common one that new Amazon sellers are doing, is private labeling. And this used to be extremely easy and used to work really well, and it still can be profitable. I still know people that are making money from private labeling, but it has changed. So basically what private labeling is you find a product on Amazon that has high sales, but maybe a low number of reviews, and just overall the product page doesn't look very good. You then create your own private label version of this product, slap your own brand on it, and you go to Amazon and you try to create a better listing and get more reviews, because then obviously people are gonna wanna buy your product over that other crappy product that had a lot of sales before. And this is great in theory, but there's 4 main reasons why private label is dead. The first one is it's just too saturated. There's so many people joining Amazon every day trying to private label the same junk products as everybody else. And I've seen this firsthand. I had a friend that was trying to private label a product, and in the time that it took for his product to get shipped over from China, which is about 6 weeks, there went from being 1 private label listing in his category to 6. So the competition had skyrocketed, and the chance of him being able to rank first for the keywords he wanted to had completely gone away. And this is the problem I'm seeing with private labeling. Anytime there's a big gold rush, there's the early adopters and then there's the late comers. And can you still make private labeling work? Absolutely, but it's not nearly as profitable as it used to be, and it's a lot harder to make it work. And another reason why I think it's too late is the second reason, which there are some sellers out there that are just way too far ahead. And I've met a lot of these sellers that are doing tens of millions of dollars, and they can just do it better than some newcomer. These sellers know how to properly brand a product. These sellers can work with lower margins. They have connections with manufacturers. So again, I think you can do private labeling, but if you don't have connections with manufacturers, you don't have a lot of money to throw into brands, and you're not okay with working on low margins, it's gonna be hard. A third reason why private labeling is dead is China. China's going directly to Amazon nowadays. A lot of times they're cutting out the middleman, which is American or Canadian private labelers, because China is seeing the power of Amazon as a platform. So they're creating their own private label brands and selling it on Amazon. Now, China and Chinese manufacturers are not as good at creating a brand as you are, but what they do is they're discounting their products so much cheaper than you can possibly compete with, that it's making it very hard. Now, branding private label products is potentially still an opportunity, but I will share with you in just a minute what I think the much bigger opportunity is. But the last reason why Amazon FBA is dead is that even if you find a really good, really profitable private label product, Amazon will just copy it and create its own version of Amazon Basics. And I've also had a lot of friends that I see this happen to. I had one friend that had a backpack company, and Amazon basically copied his backpack like down to the T and sold it on the Amazon platform. So obviously that product's gonna come up first in the listings. Now, I do wanna tell you what I think the next big opportunity on Amazon is going to be, and I'll tell you that in just a minute, but keep in mind, there are 33 million customers on Amazon. As long as there are people buying things on Amazon, there will be an opportunity, but these opportunities change over time. And as I said, there are 5 million sellers on Amazon. That's across all the different countries where Amazon sells on. But within the US, there is way less sellers in the US market. And of the sellers that are in the US market, which is the biggest Amazon market, only about a third to a fourth of them actually ever end up selling a product. So a lot of people sign up and they never follow through, which is one of my biggest pieces of advice, is to actually follow through, to actually continue to take the next steps and launch a product. But one other thing, and this is probably the biggest reason why right now is the perfect time to sell on Amazon, is this graph right here. This is the percentage of sales that e-commerce as a whole, e-commerce makes up in the United States. And in the last year, it was around like 12%. It's been growing steady every single year. Now, stop and think about that for a second. That still means that about 90% of all retail sales happen in brick and mortar businesses. Now, I think you've seen the trend. If you go to a mall during Christmas time, or if you go to a mall during any time, it is dead compared to what it used to be. People are buying more and more things on Amazon. In my apartment, I see Amazon boxes all the time. This number is gonna continue to grow and it's going to skyrocket. So it's not too late to sell on Amazon. This is the perfect time, but it is too late for all those business models I had already talked about. What I think you should do instead is create your own product, create a unique product, create a product that you wish existed in the world that does not yet exist. And this is what I did, and I'll talk about how I created my company in just a minute. But basically what you need to do is not just take a product that already exists and slap your own brand on it. You need to create a product that's better than what already exists. And this is so obvious, but a lot of people aren't doing it because it takes a tiny bit more work. But there's a lot of big advantages. And one of the biggest advantages is you don't need a lot of money to do it because you can raise money via a Kickstarter. And this is what I did. I raised $15,000 on Kickstarter to create my product. And the first company I started after quitting my corporate job 7 years ago was a dance clothing company. It was basically like a private labeling company. We were making the products ourselves, but there wasn't anything that special, that unique about them. And I struggled for a long time trying to make that business profitable. And it wasn't until I released my unique product that was different, better than the competition on Amazon, that I really started to have success. When I quit my corporate job, I had the goal of making $300 a day passive income. And within 2 months of launching this product on Amazon, I had hit that goal. And here's how I did it. First, I came up with the idea and I saw that there was a trend. People were eating more and more healthy fats. And I even saw this in my own diet. Originally, I was eating peanut butter, and then I went to like organic peanut butter, almond butter, but there was a hole in the market. Nobody was selling like an ultra premium healthy fat on the go snack. So I had this idea, but I didn't want to jump in full force into this. I didn't have the money to do a production run. So what I first did is I tested the market out. I created an Instagram telling people this product's going to be coming soon. I started posting in there, and I had a link in my bio that if people were interested, they could enter for a chance to win a free sample. They'd put their email in there, and I'd start a conversation with them. I'd send some messages back and forth to develop a relationship and get to know the customers. From there, I got them into a Facebook group, which is a product launch group. And in the product launch group, I would ask all these different people. I had friends, family, and potential customers in this group, and I asked them, hey, which of the different logos for my company do you like the best? What about the packaging design? What do you think about this packaging design? And they'd give me feedback, and I would improve the packaging design based on their feedback. Basically, they were helping me make a better product than anything else that was out there. But as I said, I didn't have a lot of money to launch this product, and I wasn't sure if this actually was going to work. So what I did is I tested the market by launching it as a Kickstarter, because a lot of people were telling me, oh, I'd love to buy this product. And this was a chance for me to see, are they just paying me lip service, or do they actually want to pay for the product? And my goal was $10,000, and within the first 3 days, I hit that $10,000, went on to make $15,000. From there, I ended up doing my first production run, which honestly, I was so scared. I had no idea how to manufacture a product, but the cool thing of doing the Kickstarter was I had the motivation that I needed to get this done, and I had like some kind of a time frame. So I ended up manufacturing my product, and then I put it on Amazon. And then as soon as I launched it, I got everybody from the product launch group I asked them to buy a box and leave a review. I got 75 reviews within the first week, and that spike in sales, that spike in reviews snowballed into more and more success. And as I said, within 2 months of launching that product, I was doing about $30,000 a month in revenue, which led to about $10,000 profit, which was above my goal of $300 a day. Now, I have made a lot of mistakes in selling on Amazon. I made a lot of mistakes with this first Amazon business. And if you want to know every single mistake I made on Amazon in these last 2 years, I did a video right here. And in that video, I talk about everything I've learned in the first 2 years of selling on Amazon. And I share with you the biggest mistake I made, which cost me about $120,000. So click on that video. I'll see you in the next video. And remember to enjoy the journey.
How many people here have bought something on Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. Raise it high. Own it. Don't be scared. Cool. How many people here have never heard? It's cool. I need the honesty here, and everyone's very fucking like this. How many people here have never heard of Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. This is the best moment of my life. One more time. You have not heard of Wish, the shopping app? Raise your hands. High. Okay, this is the best. Thank you very much. Wish, depending on who you listen to, because it's a private kind of thing, company, is doing anywhere between $3 to $6 billion in revenue. Wish is probably the closest thing to any kind of conceivable threat to Amazon in the world. Wish is doing $3 to $6 billion in sales. They're spending 98% of their money outside of a Los Angeles Lakers patch on the jersey and the McGregor-Mayweather fight. They bought the corner. Outside of those two activations, they were spending 98% of their money on Facebook ads. Wish's founders are engineers from Google that worked on the Google AdWords product. Wish is doing $3 to $6 billion in sales, and more than half of this room, not some fucking random 100 people on the street in London, this room, more than half of the people don't even know what it is. That is the punchline. Thank you. You got your perspective. I just want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? How many people here are entrepreneurs and run their own business? Raise your hands. So for me, just for my own context. So for me, this group more than anybody is the most interesting, because for them, I can comfortably say, every dollar you do not spend on Facebook and Instagram during this era, you'll regret not spending. I can't believe how much I'm spending, because what really is the conversation that's not being had in this space is what we all need as brands or entrepreneurs or individuals, which is a lot more content. If you really deeply understand, how many people here are on the media side, like are media practitioners of Facebook? Just raise your hands. So these individuals that just raised their hands, they deeply know that especially when you really know it, that the vulnerability / the opportunity is we need a hell of a lot more content that's contextual to the planning capabilities of the platform. The big thing that I would love for people to leave here if it brings them value is understanding that I'm producing 100 pieces of content a day for my brand, and I'm probably 1,000 to 4,000 short of what I should be doing. I failed almost all my classes, but one class that I got A's and B's in consistently was history, and it's really interesting how that's played out in my career. I would implore all of you, if you really want to get an input to what I think is happening here, if this conversation evolves in the next hour and it's valuable, I would implore you to watch the first 100 commercials made for television. The first 100 commercials made for television, which you can widely find on YouTube, were radio ads. They were somebody holding up something or an image, and then a man read a script. And so a radio ad was put and made into a television commercial.
America runs on Bulliver time.
Because we as a creative advertising field in the industry and the businesses hadn't figured out what the television commercial was. To me, the most interesting thing is in 2018, I think most of us agree, we've all accepted that taking a television commercial and putting it in your Facebook feed or YouTube, that doesn't work. I think we all kind of got there. But there is a far bigger 301 to that 101 point of view that needs to be talked about, which is, okay, but what does? While we're at the commercial shoot, let's shoot some collateral and use that for Facebook is also a very 101 point of view. If anybody is producing TVC and not producing a hell of a lot more content while they're there, they're already disproportionately behind the reality of the things that we should be doing. Way more importantly to me is, should it be interpreting that spot, or should we be changing out actors and actresses that demographically would be able to be powerful to the people consuming it? Should we be bringing other products and things there that allow us to shoot completely different things? I think we have a very weak creative conversation around the new channels because I think we come with a perspective from the old world. I have empathy to why that is. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they make decisions in a focus group of one. I have never made a business decision in my life based on my own behavior. That is laughable, stupid, and just naive at best, and ideologically kind of like, it's not a good idea. And so I'm fascinated by how many people go into rooms and say, Gary, you're right, my 14-year-old daughter uses Instagram. Great, John. This is not about you or your 3 friends or your 17-year-old niece or like what your grandma did yesterday. This is fucking data at scale. This is black and white happened. This is not happening. This isn't coming. 90+% of the Fortune 500 CPG brands are declining in market share. In their marketing behavior, 80% of their spend is either on television or programmatic digital, which is digital 2006. This is not confusing. Meanwhile, Gymshark and Fashion Nova and Lola and Movement watches are going from 0 to 25, 50, 100, 500 million dollars in sales on 100% spend on influencer, Facebook, and Instagram. This is not subjective debate like if a video is funny. This is what's happening in the business world. One of the things I recommend all of you is at least one time in your career, make a fundamental career change and go into an industry with fresh eyes. You will be stunned how smart you will be. I think that was my great advantage. I didn't know. When I started VaynerMedia, I didn't know that media and creative was separate. It was just what I did at Wine Library and the only way I saw the internet work. And so I just built that. It wasn't smart. It was naive and practical. And so my rant here is predicated on one thing. This is in 2019, to even have this conversation is underwhelming. In 2019, to even have this conversation is underwhelming. Like, this has been proven. This is no longer, should we guess? There's countless examples. Now, the problem is, for some people that are in the trenches and have run stuff, is like anything, if you don't play a item right, it won't work. Unbelievable amounts of money have been wasted on Facebook and Instagram because of a million different things. The creative was not strong. The targeting and the creative was not contextual to each other. There's a million different reasons why it's happened. So, the ROI of a piano to me is 0. To Elton John, it's been $1 billion. Like, this is, cool, it works, but now what? I think that Facebook knows this, my points of view on Facebook's best practices creatively is something I fundamentally disagree with because I think it panders to reporting and things of that nature. But back to the creatives in the room, like, you want to win creatively, make something that's good. Like, make something people want to watch. Like, you can't imagine what happens when you make a piece of video content that's really good, that people watch for 2 minutes and 9 seconds, all the way through, or 50% of the way through, and then you remarket them with a call to action. You can't imagine. You wanna really believe in marketing? Do that. You wanna really believe in how marketing works? Let me give you the quickest way you can feel really good at putting your head on a pillow and saying, yeah, this shit actually works. Make a great fucking video, target it properly, get hundreds of thousands of people to see quite a bit of it, and then remarket them for a call to action and watch how many convert. You'll believe in marketing for the rest of your life. It works. It's just that nobody's natively building for that. My big thing is this. I bucket it into 2 groups of people right now. One, the people that work at companies and what they spend their money on, versus 2, the people that have to feed their families with the business's success and what they spend their money on. And when you go look at the people that work at corporations and spend money on the media side and creative and what they're buying, and then you go look at entrepreneurs who have to put food on their table and what they're spending their money on, that will give you the biggest indication of what I think is going on today. And by the way, I wanna make this perfectly clear, that doesn't mean a CMO or a head of media at an agency is a bad person, stupid, or wrong. It means that's the game they're playing. Of course, if you're a CMO of a company that's internal MMM, doesn't score social, but overscores TV, you're gonna allocate those dollars because your bonus is predicated on hitting your numbers, and you've gotta buy a second car for your daughter. Humans. Humans are why very, very, very big businesses go out of business. And so I'm super pumped because a ton of huge businesses are about to go out of business. And not because I want that carnage, because I love the merit of the market. One other random thing, this is just more like fodder. It is scary how underpriced influencer marketing is if you deeply understand it, mainly because humans don't know how to price themselves. Some are completely out of their mind and want 20,000 a post when they're worth $300 in media, and they bought their fans, and you can tell. I love these fuckers with 4 million followers on Instagram with like 9 likes. Like, we know what you're doing, dick. But on the flip side, boy, the long tail of influencer marketing is fascinating. Getting 1,000 different people. Now, it's a lot of hand-to-hand combat. It's a lot of non-working media dollars to get it done. But in net efficiency to the business result you're looking for, it's super real. I think the best way to build any brand is deeply, deeply into truths and authenticity, right? So when I started putting out content, for example, I curse on stage. If you go look at my 2007 videos on YouTube, I get murdered in the comment section for cursing, right? Far less acceptable 11 years ago than it is today, for whatever reason. But I wouldn't waver because it was just when you're a Jersey boy, this is just how you fucking talk, you know? And so, one, you've got to be you all the way through. Authenticity is such a played out term, but it's kind of like stereotypes. They're grounded in some truths. Authenticity really matters. High volume of content, not overthinking the audience in the way that most people don't show them true selves because they're worried about losing certain people around certain things. Thus, they become vanilla, right? To me, if you're into marketing, but also a Jets fan, and also you garage sale on the weekends, and also you like root beer and sneakers, put it all out. Maybe my marketing community doesn't want the sneaker stuff, but maybe they do. And so a lot of overthinking, so volume of content. I think really being grounded in distribution of ads, like the fact that you can now again, because Facebook brought it back, target based on employees of companies. Just think about your business. You can target content based on employees of companies. So literally your video could be, hey, does your CMO know? That could be the beginning of your video. Or please make sure your head of HR knows. All of a sudden, 3 people of the 4,000 that you targeted forward that video to the head of HR. This is back to being a practitioner. So I think being grounded in the media capabilities, producing content, and the final thing I would say is make it consumable based on them, not on you, meaning video, audio, written word, all if you can. Now, if you're shy in front of a video, which I have empathy, some are, then you shouldn't do it. But if you can do video, it's the holy grail because then you can script the audio for podcast and audio. You can eventually, at first you can transcribe, but if you build up, you can hire somebody to transcribe it into LinkedIn, Medium, and Facebook posts. And then also, you know what? I put out a deck, an 88-page deck recently. I think it's titled Gary V Content Model. I literally just gave all my, like everything I do, my secrets for free. It's out there, you should look at that. The thesis is make content and then interpret it contextual to the channels, right? So maybe a quote from this talk becomes an Instagram quote with a picture on it. Maybe this audio, for fact, this talk will be a podcast episode for me. So things like that. So it's creating content from content because you're busy and you're one person. So there's an efficiency of content production from a masterpiece of content that creates collateral that makes the volume that you're looking for more palpable than it's more documenting than creating, which as you can imagine makes it a lot easier because the creating part is what holds people back.
So the constant debate we have at work
Yes.
is what should frequency strategy be? Can you bombard people too much? Do they really get annoyed? Do they even remember your ads when they see it 20 times? What's your opinion?
So I think it comes down to it comes down to what you're bombarding them with. Can the New York Jets bombard me too much? Absolutely not. Bombard away, right? Can Milky Way candy bars bombard me too much? They sure can because I don't really like it or consider it. But if their creative is clever or utilitarian or interesting, what about more importantly, if they gave me 4 different creative instead of 1? This question is predicated on the lack of the thing that I think people need to fill, which is more creative, right? I think you'd have, one could argue, and my team argues about this all the time too, do we just run the 13 videos that have been proven to resonate with people in perpetuity? Or do I keep creating new stuff, and what's the cadence? The answer is there's a level of both to the result. I think it's a really bad idea to keep showing people shit that they don't want. So that is for sure. That being said, there's also a conversation that should be had in our industry, which is difficult because of the technology advancements of potential reach and actual reach. Potential consumption and actual consumption. Meaning, I would also argue you can run that same Milky Way ad to me 4 times. I just might not see it the first 3 times, even though it's registered as a view. But the 4th, I may. You see where I'm going? So I think this is why we desperately have to tie this whole world into if Milky Way was testing how it was doing in Dublin at C-stores over a 1-month period, you'd get far better answers than philosophical debate. In all those hours of the philosophical debate, if my company actually spent the right amount of time in the meetings that we should be spending, I'd have 400 less employees. We're in meetings debating dumb shit 24/7 in this industry. If we took half that time and did it into doing and testing and tasting, we'd all be much further along.
In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 different ways to market your business on Instagram, how to use the Facebook Ads Manager to advertise, how to advertise within the mobile app, and also probably the most cost-effective way to market and advertise your business, leveraging other Instagram influencers. All right, now if you guys are brand new here to my channel, my name is Jason Wardrop, and I teach you how to generate more leads, make more money, and grow your business. And if you guys want a free bonus from me, then right down below in the description as well as in the top comment section, I have a 100% free Facebook ads mini course where we do dive into Facebook advertising as well as Instagram advertising, and I have a little cheat sheet for you guys. And also, if you guys are brand new here, make sure you subscribe because we launch new videos every single week on how to generate more leads, make more money, and grow your business. So hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you will be notified every time we launch a new video. So with that said, guys, let's talk about the 3 core ways that you can market and grow your business leveraging Instagram. Now, Instagram obviously is one of the hottest social networks out there right now, so it's a great place to go and connect with your different customers. But the thing is, before we jump in and we just want to start marketing our business on Instagram, we got to think about what business we're in and where our ideal client, our ideal customers are actually hanging out. Now, there's a lot of customers, there's a lot of potential clients on Instagram, but you got to make sure that it matches well with your business before we dive into things. Okay, so there's 3 key ways to go through and actually market your business leveraging Instagram so that you can become a master when it comes to Instagram advertising. Right, so the first way to go through and market your business on Instagram is leveraging other social media influencers. So if you think about your market, whatever market you're in, there are other influencers with massive followings where if you're just getting started, you might not have any following whatsoever, or your following might be very small. So it's kind of hard to get that organic growth, generate those leads, make those sales for your business. So what you can do is go find other social media influencers on Instagram that already have a following, and typically you can reach out to them. So send them a direct message on your phone and then say, hey, how much does it cost for a promotional post? So for example, let's say I'm going to jump over here on Instagram, just kind of show you how this works. A lot of this has to be done on your mobile phone, and it's a lot easier to do on your mobile phone. But just for the sake of this example, I'm going to be showing you guys right here on my desktop. But let's say that you are in the fitness industry. So we're going to come up here to the search bar, and more than likely you already probably know the top influencers in your market, and if you don't, you definitely should get to know them. So let's say we're in the fitness, so we'll just type in fitness up here, and it's gonna pop up several of these different Instagram influencers. So for example, like Christian Guzman right here, I know he's a fitness influencer, and we're gonna click to his profile. And you can't do this on a desktop device, but you can do it on your mobile phone. You can direct message Christian and ask, hey, how much does it cost for a promotional post? And typically most influencers are going to have different rates as far as how much it costs to have a post up for a few hours or even for a full 24 hours. Typically what they'll do is you give them an image with a post or whatever link you're wanting to send people to, and they'll leave that post up for about 24 hours and then they'll take it down. So they'll delete the post. But basically if you want more time, then you can pay more for a longer period of time. Or if you want multiple posts, then you can go through and say, hey, how much would it cost to have like 5 posts within the next 72 hours? And they'll give you these different rates, and all of these different influencers are going to have different rates. But the reason why this is super powerful is because a lot of times if you come over here and you look at some of these different pictures, he's getting 42,000 likes, 240 comments, 31,000 likes, 32,000 likes. So you can see how much engagement, 55,000, they're getting with each one of these posts. So when it's coming from the actual influencer themselves, as opposed to just a sponsored ad on Instagram, then it's just a lot more beneficial to you and your business, and you're going to get a lot more clicks, a lot more leads, a lot more exposure, because they already have that connection with this influencer. And so a lot of times you're able to get that awareness for pennies on the dollar, as opposed to going into the Instagram app and advertising there, or even going into the Facebook Ads Manager and setting up your full Instagram marketing campaign within there, which we'll get to here in just a second. So once again, guys, you could just come down here. If you click this down arrow, we can see a lot of other influencers. And so usually what I would do is I would go find 10 to 15 to 20 other influencers that are in the same exact niche. So like for example, Rob, I know he's in this niche as well. And so I would just go through and I would message all these people and ask how much it would be for a sponsored post on their profile. And typically they're gonna have, if they're gonna have a decent sized following, like this guy's got 475,000 followers, they're going to have some type of rates in place to be able to just give you right out of the gate. And then you can go through and track and measure, is this going to be worth it to be able to get? So you come down here, it's really important to see how many likes and comments that each person's getting, because really anyone can go and buy followers that are like fake followers, but you want to make sure they've got a good following, but also they've got a good connection with that following. So if they're getting a lot of likes, a lot of comments, all that stuff, then you want to make sure that that's happening, so that if you're going to go and invest money into a post, is it actually going to be engaged with? Are people going to actually see it? Are you going to actually get clicks to your website? And if that's the case, then it's definitely worth looking into as far as investment goes. All right, so that is the first way. Now let's jump over here. This is kind of Facebook's Instagram advertising page, which gives you a quick run through, and we're going to hit some of these different points just so you have a basic understanding of all the different ways that you can market or advertise your business on Instagram. And then we're going to actually jump into the Facebook Ads Manager and set up an Instagram advertising campaign. Okay, so right here, there's a few ways that you can go through and create different posts on Instagram that are sponsored posts. So obviously you could do just a photo ad, right? And you guys have seen these before if you've been on Instagram. It's basically just a picture, just like anyone else's account, but it'll say sponsored, and then it'll have a call to action link. And then down below it, so there's not going to be any headline, subheadline, or anything like that, but there will be a call to action. And then down below in the actual description area, you can write some text. But if you put a link in the actual description area, it's not going to be clickable, just like any other link within Instagram. But you can have the call to action when they click on the actual photo itself. Okay, so obviously you have video ads. The thing you got to remember is that if you're setting up a video ad that's going to be both on Facebook as well as Instagram, so the video ad can only be 60 seconds long. Okay, now that's really important to remember, because if you're setting up a video ad on Facebook, it can actually be really as long as you want, whereas with Instagram it can only be 60 seconds long. So if you're trying to make an ad that's going to be both on Facebook and Instagram, it's got to be less than 60 seconds or else it won't show. Okay, also you can have these carousel ads, which are really nice, especially as far as like if you're doing an e-commerce product, or even if you're in real estate and you're showing a home, a listing, and you've got multiple photos of that home. People can scroll down and flip through all the different photos, and so it's just like an Instagram photo ad, but you can have multiple photos, which is really convenient. Okay, and then right here we've got the story ads, which this is basically you can have a photo or a video, but Instagram launched stories, kind of copying Snapchat back in the day. But basically it's going to be at the very top once you jump on Instagram. And so as someone's clicking on the different stories, as they're clicking next, it'll pop up as a sponsored post between their friend stories and the next friend stories. And so once again, there is a limit on the amount of time you can have on this video. I believe it is 15 seconds. Let's see if it's got it right here. So it doesn't have the time, but I believe it's just 15 seconds. So you got to be aware of that. And also another thing is, if you look at the way that someone's gonna be holding their phone when they're going through their story ads, they're gonna be holding it vertically. So if you're shooting a video ad that you're wanting to promote to everyone, you're wanting to shoot that video vertically on your phone, because then if you shoot it horizontally, it's just gonna show up kind of small right here, and then it's gonna have a lot of black where you're not optimizing the real estate on that phone. And so it's just, you want to make sure you know where you're going to be actually showing this video ad. Whereas like up here, you can make it a box, you can shoot it vertically, you can shoot it horizontally. There's a lot more options if it's just in the Instagram newsfeed. All right, then coming down here, collection ads. This one's really good for e-commerce stores as well, where you can have a lot of different images. You can honestly, on Shopify, you can track based off what products people have looked at. And then based off what they've looked at, you can re-show that to that person on Instagram. So there's really some powerful things that you can do with Instagram advertising and setting all this up. So like we said earlier, there's a few different ways to go about doing this. One, you can obviously connect with other social influencers and ask them how much it would cost to do a sponsored or promoted post on their page. Typically, it only lasts a certain amount of time, but honestly, at the end of the day, the way Instagram and even Facebook works is the posts typically are only relevant for about 24 to 48 hours, and then it just gets lost deep into the newsfeed. So you don't really need anything longer than that. If you want more exposure, then you can just pay for multiple posts over the course of, let's say, 5 to 7 days, and you can get more people coming in and seeing your business, seeing your products, and generating more leads. All right, you can also go through and advertise within the Instagram app. So if you have a business profile, just you make a post and you can hit this promote button right here as you're seeing. And then the way I like to do it is going into the actual ads manager, which we're going to do here in just a second. I'll break down and show you guys exactly how to set this all up. But you'll go into the ads manager, and it's just like creating a Facebook marketing campaign, but instead of choosing to post it on Facebook, you're choosing to post it on Instagram. And obviously, if the creative fits both platforms, then you can say, hey, I want to advertise both on Facebook as well as on Instagram. Okay, so coming over here, let's jump in and I'll show you guys how to set this up within the Facebook Ads Manager to target people just on Instagram. So we'll come over here, and on our Facebook page, we'll go to the Ads Manager. We can access it right here or in the drop down in this right arrow. So we just click on Create Ads or Manage Ads. So I'm just going to go over here, click on Ads Manager. and this will take us into our Facebook ads account. Now, if you have never created a Facebook ads account, it's gonna walk you through the initial creation. But right here, these are your Facebook advertising campaigns. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we'll click on create to create a new campaign. And at first it's gonna ask us, what is our marketing objective? So what do we want to accomplish by creating this advertising campaign? And the cool thing is that Facebook is also Instagram. So Facebook bought Instagram for over $1 billion. So when I'm talking about Facebook, it's the same thing for Instagram. But they have so much data on every single person on their platform. They know their age, they know their gender, they know what they like, what other posts they like, what accounts they interact with. They know if people are more likely to watch a video on Instagram or on Facebook. And so because they have all this information, when we're going through and creating a new advertising campaign, we can tell Facebook, aka Instagram, which campaign, what type of objective or what we want to accomplish with this campaign. So for this example, let's say we are just wanting people to click off to our website, check out our Shopify store, opt into one of our landing pages, or visit our website or blog or anything like that. We'll click on traffic right here, and that's basically we want people to click from Instagram and go to our site. Okay, so we'll come over here, we'll name it traffic demo. You can really name it whatever you want, but I like to kind of like give it a name of something that I know if I see that later on the road, if I'm looking through all my advertising campaigns, I know what it is specifically for. So we might even do demo, and then call it demo IG for Instagram, obviously, and then we'll click continue. Okay, and now this is where we're gonna choose our audience of who we want to target, and we're gonna choose our placement. Okay, so the placement is, do we want to show this ad on Facebook? Do we want to show it on Instagram? Do we want to show it on the Instagram news feed? Do we want to show it in the Instagram stories? Where do we want to actually have this shown? Okay, so we're going to come up here and give this a name as well. So we'll say IG, and we'll say people in Dallas, for example. Okay, so right here, this traffic website, we don't have to touch anything right here. The dynamic creative, right now we don't have to mess with that, the offer, anything like that. We'll come down to the audience, and this is where we choose who we want to actually show our post to. Okay, so let's say that we are in the fitness space, so we want to show it to, you know, people that are interested in fitness. So if we come down here, we probably don't want to just say fitness in general, because fitness is pretty broad. Like, is it going to be more focused for men or women? Is it going to be more focused on weight loss, or maybe you're trying to get a six-pack or build muscle, anything like that? So we want to actually get a little bit more targeted with our advertising, so it's not just speaking to everyone out there. So for this example, let's say we have a product or service or supplement, whatever it is, that is close to, since we've kind of been going with the whole fitness route, let's say it's close to like P90X, like an at-home workout video training program. Maybe we've got like a little home workout course or something to go through and build strength, build muscle, get fit. So we can come in here, and for the detailed targeting, we will type in P90X. Okay, it should have something. So we've got about 1.4 million people in this audience. So instead of this Dallas one, we'll say Instagram, and we'll say P90X. All right, so now we'll come down here, and as far as the location, really, I like to typically start out with just the US, but you could go through and do the US and Canada, or wherever you're located, whatever country you're located, or wherever you want to have your ideal target customers. And then as far as the age goes, like P90X is pretty general, pretty broad, so I'll just leave that open-ended. If you do have a specific market, like you're wanting to go through and work with women ages 18 to 30, you can go through and put that in there. The one thing to keep in mind when it comes to targeting and your audience size, Facebook typically likes larger audiences, and based off of your ad copy and your creative, so whether it's a video or an image, Facebook can kind of target who the ideal people are that are more likely to actually engage with that post and click to your website. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of beginners go through and they try to get all the interests like super narrow down, super niche. They try to go and get a specific age range and get that exact person super ideal and a very tiny audience. But typically what I found is that your advertising dollars are better spent leaving it a little bit more wide open, but giving Facebook just a little bit of direction. So make sure you keep that in mind as you're going through and creating an audience to go through and target. And then coming down here to our placements, now we're setting up an Instagram ad. Facebook says that the automatic placements is recommended, but that means that it's gonna be shown on Facebook, on Instagram, on their audience network, every place that Facebook can actually go through and show an ad. And I don't love that, because if you go and have a video, it's gonna show up different on your stories, on your Instagram newsfeed, on your Facebook newsfeed. And so I usually like to go through and select specific placements so that my ad creative is actually gonna match up with that placement. Okay, so we'll come over here, we'll click on edit placements, and I don't want to do anything on Facebook because this is a tutorial on how to go through and market on Instagram. So we're gonna uncheck this. We're gonna uncheck audience network, uncheck messenger, and we're just gonna focus on Instagram. Now if we want it to just to show up in the newsfeed, then we just click this and we can uncheck the stories, or vice versa. If we just want to do the stories, we'll click on that and uncheck the feeds. But we want to make sure that whatever creative we're using, so whether it's a video or image or whatever it is, it's going to actually match up with that specific placement. So let's say for this one, we're going to do an actual newsfeed one. We're going to uncheck stories, and then we'll come down here and we can choose a budget of how much we want to spend. Now we could do a daily budget. So let's say we want to spend $5 every single day or $10 every single day, or we can say, hey, we want to do a lifetime budget, and over the course of the next month we only want to spend, let's say we've got $100 to go through, 1,000. We've got $100 to go through and spend on our Instagram marketing. Okay, but typically what I like to do is I like to do the daily budget, because if the campaign is performing well, then we can just leave it running, and if it's not performing well, then we can always go through, pause it, cancel it, delete it, whatever we want. So we'll come back here to the daily budget, and we'll just run the ad set continuously starting today. And maybe let's say we're gonna start out at $5 per day. All right, so $5 per day, it's gonna be over the course of a month. It's gonna be about $150 or $35 per week. And then as far as the optimization for ad delivery, it's saying link clicks, which, let me just kind of break down the difference between link clicks and landing page views. So anytime for link clicks, anytime somebody taps on your ad on Instagram, Facebook will charge you, and that will count towards the cost per link click. But if somebody's in a spot where they don't have good data or good Wi-Fi or anything like that, then they might never actually pull up your website, your blog, your e-commerce store, whatever you're trying to send them to. So if you want a little bit more accurate data of how many people are actually visiting your website, I like to do landing page views, because that means they not only clicked on the ad, but your page actually loaded. So you want to make sure that happens, and that's able to be done with the Facebook Pixel, which I have another video showing you how to create that, how to install it, how to do everything. So I'll add that up here in the top that you guys can go through and watch that if you're unsure on how to go through and create the Facebook Pixel, install it, and everything like that. But this is going to give you a lot better accurate data when it comes to tracking people that are actually clicking and seeing your website. Your cost per landing page view is going to be a little bit higher than your cost per click, but it's just going to be higher quality information. So from here, we'll choose landing page views, and we'll click on continue right here. And this is where we're going to actually create the ad of what people are going to see inside their Instagram newsfeed. Okay, so right here, we're going to choose what Instagram account we want to go through and show it from. So if you haven't connected an Instagram account, they're going to ask you to connect an Instagram account, and then we can choose the format. Now we talked about, I showed you kind of up here, there's a lot of different formats: the collection ads, the story ads, carousel, video ads, photo ads. And so this is where we actually choose this. Okay, so let's say for this example, we'll just do a single image ad. It's the most common, the most basic, but just scrolling through, you'll just see an image. And so coming down here, we'll upload an image from our desktop if you already have one you want to use. Or if you don't have one you want to use, but you still want to use a professional looking image, Facebook has a deal with Shutterstock where you can have all these free stock images that look really nice. So if we click on this, We come in here and let's say we'll type in fitness. Okay, so we'll see like what different posts they've got. So this one looks like, okay, it's both men and women. This might even be a P90X type of workout. So we'll click on that and we'll hit confirm. Okay, so this will be what the image is looking like. This is a little example post of what our ad is going to look like on Instagram. Okay, so it's going to have our profile picture. It's going to say sponsored ad, and then we can go through and add some more information. And you can see kind of like the Shutterstock and all that stuff here, this watermark. Once it goes live, that's not actually going to show up, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so then we come in here, we type our message. Maybe it's like, get our free 7-day workout series or whatever it is. And then let's say your website is, we'll just say Google for this example. Okay, so we'll just copy and paste this and we'll put it right in here as our website URL. And then I usually like to have for the call to action, I usually like to have learn more. Okay, and you can see the pixel is missing from this page because Google doesn't have a Facebook pixel on their page, obviously. But as I mentioned earlier, guys, if you want that Facebook pixel tutorial on how to install that on your page to help you with your Instagram advertising and the tracking everyone that's coming to your page, I'll have that link to the video up here that you guys can go through and check that out and watch how to do that before you actually go through and set up your Instagram marketing campaign. Okay, so then from here, guys, that's pretty much it. It's really going to be important what you throw in here into your copy of what you're actually saying to get somebody to want to click. And then also the image. The goal of the image is to get somebody to stop scrolling and check out what you have to offer. And then the actual text right here is to sell them on clicking. So the image is to get them to stop scrolling, and then the text, the goal is to sell them on why they should click. Not necessarily sell them on your product, that's what your sales page should do, but to sell them on why they should click. All right, so then from here, all we got to do is hit confirm and you are done. You are good to go. That is how you set up a full Instagram advertising campaign. All right, so once again, guys, if you want my free Facebook ads mini course, and it goes into Instagram as well as my Facebook ads and Instagram ads cheat sheet, down below in the description, as well as in the top comment, you guys can go through and download that 100% for free. But just as a quick recap of the 3 different ways to go through and market and advertise your business on Instagram, you can go through, find other Instagram influencers that are in your niche, reach out to them, find out how much it costs for a promoted post. So obviously for this fitness niche, you can go through and find these different influencers and think about who your audience is going to be following. Obviously these are male fitness influencers, so that's going to be different than the female fitness influencers based off your market. Then you can come over here, and as shown down here on this page, you can advertise within the Instagram app. So if you have a business Instagram profile, you can make a post and promote the post directly within the Instagram app. Or my favorite way to do it is going through into the ads manager on Facebook on your computer, just because you're able to have a little bit more leeway and a lot more options when it comes to your targeting, your setup, and all those different things. So that's really the way I like to go through and do it. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Also drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you guys are brand new here to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we launch new videos every single week on how to generate more leads, make more money, and grow your business. Right? So thanks so much, guys, for watching this complete tutorial of advertising on Instagram. I hope that it helped you with getting started with marketing your business on Instagram and even on Facebook and all these different platforms to be able to go through and grow your business. And with that said, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Should you be using YouTube advertising to grow your business? The answer is yes. You know, a lot of business owners are focusing on Facebook and Instagram, and those are great platforms, but YouTube is one of the most overlooked opportunities for business owners right now. But a stat showed us that less than 10% of US small businesses are actually using YouTube to grow their business. And so I just got done sharing a keynote at the University of San Diego all about how to use YouTube to grow your following, make more sales, and generate more profits. And in the first part, I talked all about YouTube advertising. So if you want to get started, no matter where you are in your journey or what your budget is, you're going to love this video. So let's get into it. Coming up. And so there's massive opportunity to grow your business on YouTube right now. And I just want to talk about briefly, and then we'll do Q&A, 3 different ways. And these are actually like the only ways to grow your business on YouTube and the ones we should be focusing on. Number 1, in order, in fact, YouTube ads, influencers, and then content. That's the game. You're either going to jump into YouTube advertising and you may stay there. You might do influencers as well, or you might do all 3, or pick and choose which one. I would recommend, of course, scaling into doing all of them because that is where you'll kind of get a force multiplier effect. Let's start off with YouTube ads, the fastest and easiest, quote unquote, way to leverage YouTube. And the reason why is because you only need 1 video to start. If you just get 1 ad done, 1 video to run, 1 thing to build your thing, that is all you need to start with, and then you could start running ads with that on YouTube. And here's a case study, Purple.com, and they've been around for a while. Has anyone heard of Purple mattresses? Wave at me, say yes. Yeah, like half the room was waving. So it's a Utah-based company, and they've been around since around 2016. And they are a 100% self-funded company, and they scaled profitability with video marketing. And so Bryant Garvin, the lead advertiser at Purple, he attributes his company's rapid success to their video marketing campaigns. And what they have done since launching these different video ads is they have now driven over 1 billion video views. And he said this, YouTube gives us a key opportunity to tell our story in a unique way that engages audiences. And so early on, they actually kind of bootstrapped, worked with a production company, and got some ads created themselves. They ran a successful Kickstarter campaign when they were starting. Then a little bit later in the game, they launched an ad. This one was kind of based on Goldilocks, and they worked with a company called the Harmon Brothers, who are famous for running viral ads. This video ad has 177 million views here on YouTube. That was driven by not just ad spend, but also what's triggered organically, because the ad is so good and it's creative and it tells their story and it's funny and it's shareable. So ads get it started, and then the creativity of the ad lets organic go crazier. Now, it always gets a little awkward when you show a picture on the screens of a woman sitting on a toilet using a squatty potty. Maybe it's just for me, but I mean, has anyone ever heard of the squatty potty? This is the original bathroom toilet stool. It's 7 inches, and it's $24.95. It's a piece of plastic, right, that actually helps kind of unkink your digestive system. And I'm just going to keep going because it's kind of awkward, but here we go. And so here's the deal. But Squatty Potty, the company, did a commercial that, again, is a viral ad that they ran cross-platform, as they did with the Goldilocks one. But YouTube was a major place where they ran it. Now listen to some details about this campaign. It was credited for a 600% leap in online sales and a 400% increase in retail sales at Bed Bath & Beyond. It generated $15 million of revenue in 2015. And the video is dubbed The Unicorn Changed the Way I Poop. Yeah, you could tweet that if you want. You could just put that out. But it goes on to say that ultimately they remixed it. They also, once the ad had popularity, they remixed it and put that out. That got 100,000 shares on Facebook. It was an auto-tuned remix called The Best Poop of Your Life. And then they also even followed up a video before this about Girls Don't Poop, which racked up 54 million views. And as, again, interesting as this campaign is to talk about, I think it's important to note that the power of a creative video ad can revolutionize your business and your brand. The Harmon Brothers are the creators of that ad, and they have a book that I would highly recommend. Write that down, take a picture of it, From Poop to Gold. But they have really kind of dialed in a creative formula for how to make ads that are entertaining, that people actually want to watch, they want to share, but that are also very effective for building your business. And they have multiple levels as well. So not only getting the book can maybe give you some ideas to bootstrap yourself, but they also have like a course, and they even have the ability to hire them as an agency, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that is a phenomenal idea to explore those types of things related to YouTube ads. Hey, if you're getting value out of this video, can you smash the like button? Thanks. For me, just personally in our small business, we've only spent tens of thousands of dollars on YouTube ads with only one ad format. That's TrueView in-stream ads. Have you seen these before? We've all been on YouTube. You start the video, and then you have a chance to skip the ad, right? Powerful. That's the only ad format that we have personally used, and it's been massively effective for us. And for us, our industry, we've averaged $1.50 cost per lead, which is nearly half our lead cost on Facebook. Again, I'm going to pester you. Please start using YouTube, even if you just start with one ad and a simple ad. But there's multiple different advertising options on YouTube. TrueView ads, you can do non-skippable ads. They have 6-second bumper ads now that could play at the end of a video or in between two videos. Display ads, overlay ads, sponsored cars, and masthead format. You don't need to capture all that because I know I said it so fast. How would you have? So let's summarize a few things about YouTube ads and why I think they're such a major deal for us just to get started if we want to dip our toes into the YouTube game. The first one's create omnipresence. I know that, who here is using Facebook ads? Please raise your hand as high as possible. Actually not, well probably I'm thinking everybody, but like only half the room. But I'm gonna go with everybody. Why not use other platforms to create omnipresence? As users touch you touch your website, you're remarketing, then they're seeing you on YouTube, they're seeing you on Facebook. It is a great way to get more exposure to your target customers. YouTube's CPM is remaining low, so if you're looking for ways to better spend or more maximize your marketing dollars, YouTube ads is a great way to look into. Free brand impressions. So check this out. Those in-stream ads that are skippable, if the person skips the ad, you don't pay. If the person does not watch a full 30 seconds, you don't pay. So I recommend making that video longer than 30 seconds. And then what you could do is people watch a few moments, they're like, huh, okay, all right, cool, but they still skip it and you don't pay. But what has happened? It's a brand impression. You've probably all seen that Think with Google recently said that it now takes 21 to 24 touch points to actually drive a viable sales lead. And so getting free brand impressions is a really good idea. Now, when we get to Q&A, I can also speak to you from the influencer perspective, since I am a content creator myself. And so in one sense, part of what I'm marketing is my weird looking face, right? And so when you think about these free brand impressions, when I'm running these ads, I run into people, places, they go, I see you everywhere. That's good for your business, isn't it? Thank you, everybody. Have a good, that's good for your business, right? I mean, yeah, like that's amazing. So free brand impressions, you're running some ads. Purple tracked that they saw brand lift, a term where search traffic increased for free because of getting brand impressions that people were not paying for. People go Purple mattress, they start searching you out, they start Googling you, which is a free way to grow your business. 98% of YouTube videos are watched with the sound on. Facebook, 98% of the videos are watched with the sound off. Same thing on Instagram, more and more stories, the sound is off. People are tapping through, so you definitely want to make sure copy and whatnot is on there. But on YouTube, the intent, the reason users are there is to have that sound on. So that's exciting as well. And then of course, remarketing. That would also, I would think, be kind of a minimum effective dose to jump into YouTube, is to consider remarketing when people touch your website or certain pages of your website or your promotions, but also certain videos. So what's cool about YouTube, similar to Facebook, is if you are also uploading organic content, you could serve ads just to people who've watched certain videos, therefore volunteering their interest in that particular topic. And so lastly, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know that at times I've had friends, brands, businesses that have had troubles with their ad accounts, have had ad accounts shut down, paused, even deleted, and prices go up, competition can be all over the place, and so diversification, just like in our personal finances, just like in many areas of our life, I think is also very wise to do in our marketing strategies for our businesses. And so you only need one video to start, to get going with video ads. And so a couple of just practical ideas. You could create it in-house. Like if maybe you've got some people around the office, you got an idea, you already have a media arm of what you're doing, create it in-house. Maybe read Poop to Gold, come up with the idea and launch your own campaign. You could hire an agency, Or you could also do some sort of a hybrid. Maybe you're already running traffic, you're already running ads, you already have somebody that is doing that, but you need help with the creative. You could outsource the creative, get that one video. Now, of course, always test. You might not get lucky on your first video, but the principle remains the same. You only need one video to start, so please, I implore you, start YouTube marketing. Okay, so I hope that you are getting pumped about the power of YouTube marketing and advertising. And this is actually a part of a 4-part series where I went through all of the best ways that I know of how to build your business with YouTube right now. So if you want to check out some of the other videos in the series, I'll put a link to the playlist on the YouTube card and put a link to it in the description below as well. Question of the day. I'm curious, have you started doing any kind of digital advertising for your business yet? Facebook ads or YouTube ads or anything else? Let me know in the comment section below. And we also just put together a brand new guide here at Think Media about how some of today's top brands are using YouTube in different ways. If you want more ideas on how to use YouTube for business, whether with organic content, influencers, or with digital advertising, make sure to grab that free guide. It's at learnyoutubemarketing.com, and I'll put a link to that as well so you can download that so you can start growing your business faster, leveraging the power of YouTube. Appreciate you checking out this video. Smash like if you got value, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.